So this is a generalized statement, but most organizations as they grow have the who moved my cheese element, which is, if you're not familiar with the concept of who moved my cheese, it's just that change is hard and people don't like it. They have this rosy picture of what used to be versus what could be in the future. So anytime you make a change, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And I think in the case for us was many people thought that we were getting too big. They thought we were losing some of our grassroots, some of our nimbleness, and what made GitHub special in the first place. And I have some sympathy for that because as startups go, that is the most common mindset, which is we're losing our soul a little bit. The other side of it too was the application engineering team did not like to feel constrained. Typically, they have their concerns. They want to move fast. They want to have all of the choice freedom to choose services or other things that they might want to do. The drawback, though, is they didn't realize at the time what that meant for being on call, as an example. And that, honestly, that was the real big watershed moment for people, as they started to realize, oh, well, hang on a second. If I make that choice, I'm on call for everything. Yes. And the way that our application is structured still as a monolith, that means that we can't actually have that be the case, because if you're on call for that, you actually have to be on call for everything because of the way monoliths work. Then we started to realize, okay, we got to do things a little bit differently. The way I've described this is your goal with these things is the most safety at speed, or the fastest you can possibly run while being safe. And if you find them, that magical point on the curve overlap, this is where you want to be. And we all know that the most secure network is one that's not connected to anything. And the fastest you can possibly go is when you don't log, you don't error check, and you don't care about what actually happens. So we automatically already care about some of the overlapping concerns. We just need to find the point on the curve where they overlap for our organization. Once you get people in a room to have that conversation, most of the misgivings or kind of concerns go away. It's just you have to walk through the steps. I can't actually say I remember any pushback from the ops perspective, because I think that they were already so underwater that, this is, if you're 10 feet underwater, you're just hoping to get a snorkel that's 10 feet long. It doesn't matter if you're above water at that point. You just need to get some air. That's what they were hoping to get. I don't think in any separation of concerns really should allow that they don't need to communicate, if you think about it that way. At some point, if you're a well-run organization, you shouldn't actually have to care about that, to be honest with you. But if you're, and maybe this is a non-magnanimous thing for me to say, but if you're not a well-run organization, you might be crutching your organizational misgivings or inefficiencies by saying you all need to talk to each other on a regular basis to do this. It's, maybe classic growing organization stuff. I never was too concerned about that, for what it's worth. I don't think the ops team needed to fully appreciate why something was done in GitHub issues for everything to run well. Maybe it would be better in some cases if they did, but I think it was more like at the edges. Like if there was something esoteric going on, maybe they needed to understand that, but then they can have that conversation. But the way that we organize ourselves, it wasn't that big a deal. I think the one caveat there would be, the difference would be, once you pull something out of code and start putting it in more infra primitives, then that team who manages the infra primitives has to understand some of the things. So again, like if you pull something out of just straight up Ruby, Node, Go, whatever code, and you're going to go throw it onto Kafka to go do something, you probably have to have a conversation about what here is going to happen. But that's different, I think, than just saying like ops needs to talk to dev.